They'll be calling you a radical. This may be the most important video that I ever do. I want to talk about the reality of Fukushima. Just because I'm on YouTube doesn't mean, this is a very small piece of my activism. My activism is broad. I've done television interviews. I'm very picky about them. I like PBS format, well, public television things. My interview with Jack Dresser, my interviews with Jules Stan, me in the street. I'm a huge activist because what is really bottom line, I want to end all nuclearism. That's what I was up to long before. I want to talk about the realities of Fukushima and what's going on with these Johnny-come-latelys, not even the Johnny-come-latelys. We need those. We need those people, you know. I'm all for you. I love you. I love all you people that are fighting. Look, but we can't spill this in La-La-ville, in this hyperbole. Oh, they did it on purpose. They're trying to freaking thin the herd. They're killing on purpose. We can't go there because even if it is true, and I don't know if it's true or if it's not, but we need to deal with this in the reality of the fact that what we do know. That's what this is about, what we do know. You know, because you're spinning us into, because here on the right, in the far right, they really believe to rape the earth and poison the earth and the free market. Free market, really? 50,000 years going to clean? And then the left, they really believe that somehow nuclear is a replacement to dirty coal, which is obscene. Look, let's talk about the truth and reality. Let's talk about this stuff that's coming out about evacuating the coast of... It's such ridiculous. Oh, the debris field's going to hit and just go crazy. And two things. One, Caroline Kennedy is over there today. I think it's a pivotal time. Because she's not in Tokyo. She's in northern Japan. She's touring the area. And I'll guarantee she's a gas. She's like, oh, I'll guarantee everybody that's talking to her in a personal way, Fukushima, 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 she's seen it. Her father was incredibly, the last real man we had in the White House. He was anti-nuclear. It's a big deal. Barbara Boxer taking these monsters on is a big, big deal. The Southern California fighters, it's a big, big, big deal. As I said, we're going to hit the beach on D-Day, that eventful day, and that is a marquee, pivotal time. But I want to talk about this. Let's talk about this. When this happened, poof, 3 of them are immediately, as soon as the quake happened. The plumes are in there, the roofs are blown off, it's on. This is different of Chernobyl because Chernobyl, it blew and it was horrible, horrific, but they entombed it. 500,000 men, Gorbachev, another anti-nuclear. By the way, his wife died of what I have. So many have. They went in there and entombed the thing. They got to the core. They haven't touched this core. They can't get to the core. This is China fission China syndrome, nuclear fission for the first time in all of humanity is going on, at least 4, I believe in 6. Multiple ones in 4 that went off. So the plume goes up. The wind is blowing out. I just got off the phone with Ariel. All these intuitive women from Southern California, all you people, she was in China. Okay, right when this happened. She's getting my reports. The only thing she's getting more. Kathy, I went in Japan getting my report. So many people. I'm the early guy. I'm the guy calling this detail. 10,000 views a day. Boom, boom, boom. These people are coming to me. People are just rushing. They're watching the weather like Christ. Gupta and Anderson Cooper, CNN, everybody's glued to CNN watching because they're there. They get out. The wind is blowing out. The plume blowing out over the Pacific. The wind is blowing out over the Pacific. Now, you people in Southern California remember this. The plume didn't get you in those early days. The plume went up. Go back to Richard Miller, Under the Clouds, where it rained. The jet stream is so important in that first week. Where was the jet stream? It was up into Washington, into Oregon, over Vancouver, Canada, dove back down over the Midwest and hooked around like that those first few days. Now, as Ariel stated to me today, she says, Kevin, I had a nightmare last night and all I see is this big glaring red sun. And I says, boy, do you get it. Boy, like Lonnie Clark, all these Southern California females, they get it. They get it. It's a beautiful intuitive sense. They get it. This is, to understand this, understand the sun. They understand. This is the only other place this takes place. This is the first time this has happened here. And it still gives you cancer 93 million miles away. Okay, so the gamma rays are being released. Now, okay, so the plume blew out. For one day, day 6, that's right when Gupta and they backed off, Gupta and Anderson Cooper backed off, went to Tokyo, and then were immediately in the middle of the night flown home. Because it did blow one day over Tokyo. The NRC recommended the evacuation of Tokyo. It did. And because they're watching it, China immediately bans all fish coming in. Russia immediately bans all fish in. Not here. So, okay, so what is the IAEA? Their only option was to push it into the ocean with water. So that's what they decided to do. Is it different than the plume? No, because it goes into the ecosystem. The Pacific Genocide that I come up with is the exact word that this is, because that's what it is. It's the Pacific Genocide. So the water's pouring over every single day over these things, and they admitted it. They admitted it's plutonium into the ocean currents. And for this Canfor Woodholes to come out and say, "Oh, it's a localized Japanese issue," it's so obscene and so grotesque what these hordes are doing. What fish don't swim, please. What ocean currents? The Japanese. Okay, so they're pushing into the Japanese. There's a small current with an eddy that hooks down like this, that hooks into the Japanese current. The Japanese are one of the swiftest rivers on the face of the earth. It hooks up like this, goes right down towards the Bay of California. It splits. It hooks up into the Gulf of Alaska, the biggest fishery in the world where all the fish we eat comes from. Then it hooks the other side, and then it comes back down, and it runs all the way down the California current, which is a very, very rapid, swift river. Stuff can make it from that bridge in Eugene, Oregon. I made it in a few days when it happened. So to think that it's some bathtub and it's being diluted is, and so I hear Busby, I hear Gunderson, I hear all these people go to that dilute. It doesn't dilute, it grows and grows. It's the opposite of dilution. So the evacuation of California, it's obscene. It's obscene because this is all around the globe now. It's in the ecosystem. Southern California is probably much safer to be living in probably than maybe Washington, D.C. or New York City or Salt Lake City, Utah right now. For real. And even in Washington, look, it's been pushed into the water. Now, we're getting plumes, yes, we got high readings because once it goes into the atmosphere, it's accumulative. And it's accumulating more, but this whole hyperbole, this is going to end all of humanity on Earth. Come on, come on. I'll tell you exactly how this is going to play out, exactly how it's playing out now. Now, what happened? To think that the United States is not over there, because it is their baby, and they've not been having the reins on this, is total ignorance and naive. They've been over there the whole time. We know this, as is being reported, as I've been reporting the whole time. Gregory Jackal himself, he resigned over this in the Situation Room. Okay, remember this. Think about this. It's been reported by the Washington Post, ex-reporter, had come out and he quoted right out of the Situation Room that a 32-team Science and Technology Advisory Team to the Obama administration in the early days were given the reins. Who was the chair of, that's why I'm going to Livermore Lab and I'm protesting at Berkeley. Think about this. They get funded how many hundreds of billions of dollars a year? Hundreds of billions of dollars. Their cold fusion technology, they have to justify all that money. The guy who was running the cold fusion and their freaking so-called nanotechnology resigned this month. As I was in D.C., they're retooling because it's failed. There's no doubt in my mind. My whistleblower's been telling me this whole time. It's failed. So what did they do? They went to the Chernobyl playbook. Cover up, cover up, cover up, cover up. Cover up any mammal you grab a hold of. Don't, and any reports come out. Cover up, cover up, cover up. Why we let the nanotechnology and the cold fusion and the Lawrence Livermore science, which they've been funded for billions, for generations. I mean, that major, they have to justify it. And they told them, oh yeah, we have it, we have it. They've been over it. It's failed. It's not working. They know it's not working. You know, it should have been a massive military operation, just like China. It should have been, which the Navy was sent in immediately. So, okay, so their cold fusion nanotechnology is not working. Now, we know that Ariel says it just right. She was in China. When she called me this morning, she's like, keep having this horrible dream about this giant red ball like a sun. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So to think, okay, it's getting hotter and hotter. No, the heat, yes, it's a massive heat. They can't even get near it. Their robots have failed. You know, the dog and pony show on fours, we know we're empty. So what's happening? Gamma rays are being released of epic magnitude, like no other time, in a field being pushed down, pushed into the Pacific. So that energy is being dispersed into the Pacific Ocean in an intense, horrific way. So how's this going to play out? California going to be a slaughter zone? No, the whole world is going to be a slaughter zone. This will kill millions and millions and millions of people like it almost killed me. And people, the vast majority of people that it kills won't even know. Is this a watershed moment in the world? Oh yes. 3/11/11 is the pivotal day that will change everything forever. Radical, hardcore change in all of humanity. Oh yeah, is it going to end humanity and Earth? I don't believe so. Now, I can't be sure of that. Absolutely not. Nobody can. Is it burning down? We know China syndrome nuclear. Absolutely. That's the tritium levels in the wells. That's what that's all about. This is a big, big deal. But to say, oh, we're going to evacuate California, we're going to think, that is ridiculous, over-the-top bullshit. It is bullshit. Go back to Richard Miller, 1986, which I knew personally, Under the Cloud. And know this, I've been studying and involved in this since birth. This has been my whole, I ate, slept, drink it, now I literally say, as I ran and raved, it's going to give you leukemia, it's going to give you AML leukemia, it's going to give you, 7 months later I got a radical hardcore, I've been in the bone marrow transplant, watched it with my own eyes, watch this scene. Now think about my survival. Think about my father, human guinea pig in the Nevada test site. This guy looked like, this guy was the most beautiful. My mom was Miss Utah, for God's sakes. I mean, my mom, she says that's where she married. This guy was like, never had a cavity. I watched him have these massive, incredible seizures as a boy. Now I understand. All the health issues, I have a twin sister. We were both preemies. We both had incredible health issues. Autistic, I mean, all these, I understand now. I understand what it was. And then for him to be mowed down, and all his brothers and sisters alive, you know, and his one brother just passed, 89, my uncle, the D-Day vet. For him to pass, and then me to get the disease. Now think about AML leukemia. I got the exact, which is a horrific, hardcore killer that mowed you down and kills you like that. Mine pushed out of my bone marrow and presented in tumors. They say it only happens 1 in 5,000 cases. I believe it happens more often. Why? I think my body's been fighting it off from birth. I think his intense radiation in his body is the reason I'm alive. Now, and it's great doctors. The misdiagnosis should have killed me, but I have plenty of people coming into this site that know now that their fathers were nuked to death, and they talk about their health issues their whole lives and everything. I think this is a story that hasn't been told. And my vlog and this vlog, people that are watching, this is, my doctor says, Kevin, you were setting the playbook. He says, you're the first guy we know of to do nouveau voluntarily not having the bone marrow transplant. I was due for the bone marrow transplant April 24th last year, as you guys are watching know, and we decided not to do it and walked away. And I pulled myself off all medication. I mean, I had to get chemoed hardcore. Those tumors that wrapped around my lower bowel were eating me away. I went from 170 to 130 in 3 weeks. Look, let's not let the radical lunatics take the field on this. I mean, this old Marine guy, you know, he's going on. He's called the end of the earth now, I think 6 times this year, but you guys eat that I mean, let's concentrate on what we do know. Now, nuclear fission, yeah, China syndrome's going on, mega, big time. Is there no answer? Hell no, there's no answer. TEPCO themselves saying we're relying on unyet developed technology. But here's what happened in the early days in the Obama administration. He took their word. He took Holdren's word. John Holdren said, we have the technology at Cal Berkeley. We've had it for a while. He took their word and says, okay, and the military, I mean, this was right from the military's mouth, the Navy and Marines. They wanted in immediately. They went in immediately. They were backed out. These guys took the field, and it has not worked. It's failed. It's out of control. There's no answer. So this is going to be, there is no answer. They can try all they want, do everything there. Now, is it going to burn deeper and deeper and deeper? Well, that's a hypothesis. That's the word China syndrome. This is just my hypothesis. I don't know this. Nobody knows this. I believe that the energy is like a giant ball of sun that is developing underneath the earth, and I think it's being dispersed in the Pacific. And I think the marker species are really telling the tale. I think you know what really stands in my mind more than anything? Our sea lion that died this summer at Hogle Zoo here in Salt Lake. Now, it wasn't in the Pacific during the whole thing. They captured it, had an eye injury, I think it was blind. And they saved it. It was a rescued sea lion, but perfectly healthy. It was one of the favorite creatures of the kids and everybody. The zookeepers, I mean, they're so human-like, those sea lions. They're so loving, spiritual. I think they're such marker species, like dolphins. Boom, they said just quit eating in July. Boom, AML leukemia. Mowed it down and killed them just like that's what's going on in the country right now. And that's what we're going to deal with in a massive, epic way. As I told Ariel this morning, she was in China. She says, we watched those patterns, and it did flow over Tokyo one day. I think day 6 or 7, then the wind shifted back. And that's exactly, and then I was a fan of Sanjay Gupta's, a huge fan of Sanjay Gupta's. But when he did that dog and pony show on the 26th, just 2 weeks over, and talked about how good it was for you, and had this Donald Weaver that went over there, I've kept track. And all you journalists, and this is very, very real, that 800 of the Fukushima workers. Now you think about this. I want you to really think about this. It's widely reported, it's accepted, it's carnal knowledge now that the mob has been running the workforce. And TEPCO is nothing. I mean, I call them the James Earl Ray, the TEPCO, the Lee Harvey Oswald, the Saran of this whole thing. We know who's running the show underneath. So think about that. GE and Westinghouse, United Department of Energy has run this thing from Livermore. So think about that. They've been hiring homeless people and using the Japanese mob and sequestering. So the protests that are going on in Japan have been giant and giant. Mikado, as you see, that video I did the very first day. And I put up that thing of my best friend Mikado and these people I graduated from college with. Oh, there's so many of their family members were wiped out en masse. It's so horrible what happened. Now, was the tsunami man-made or not? I don't know. I'm not even going to go there. Was it intentional? I don't know. I'm not going to go there. But we do know this, that there's at least 4 full core meltdowns. I believe there's 6 over there now. And I believe that waiting for 1,000 days. Yeah, there was probably no answer in the early days, but they thought they did. It's the arrogance of the Livermore Lab. That's why I'm going there the 28th, and I'm going to protest there. Because they have to justify the billions and billions and billions and those tens and thousands of employees. They have to justify it. That was their chance. So they played Russian roulette. Excuse me, sorry, not Russian roulette. They played nuclear roulette with us. And they lost. We lost. Is it going to end the earth? I don't believe so. Is it going to end humanity? I don't believe so. Is it going to grotesquely alter the path forward? And as Einstein said, people will adapt to nuclear fallout in a heavy way and radiation, but it will take hundreds and hundreds of years and multiple generations. In the meantime, we'll pay. And think about this as far as the news media reporting. Advertisers are what fuels news. Now you think about Fox News is the top of the heap, so everybody's trying to emulate Fox. It's their advertisers. Now who fuels the advertisers? The American populace. So they are we. When you go into the Illuminati and you go into these people, there's still people and there's still choices. Just, you know, there's still presidents and people have to make choices, just like Lincoln had to make a choice. You know, FDR had to make choices, you know, Bush made choices. They all make choices. They still come down to fundamental choices no matter who puts them there. These are still men and choices are made. We are our own worst enemy. You know, this whole hyperbole that's been on the left and the right. So you got the far right radical lunatics, go get a gun, blah, blah, blah. You got the far left, oh, the 60% of us that are caught in the middle. And the people that love our children, that's working class. That's when I marched and tried to lead that march. You know, that's what we were all about with the million masked man. And I mean, we need them so bad. We need everybody. To think this hyperbole about evacuation of California, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. You can't hide. You can't hide. Now what Barbara Boxer's doing now, I've worked tightly with and we're working close with in Southern California is a big deal. This fight is happening in Southern California. And these women with their incredible intuitive sense, just like me that day, I knew. I've called this in incredible detail. This is going to kill millions and millions and millions for many, many generations. Now, the annihilation of the Pacific Genocide, the biggest food basket in the history of humanity, I mean, the biggest food basket, I mean, Earth's the mighty blue, that's what this is all about. Respect to that beautiful spiritual, I mean, what we're doing to the mammals and that is so heartbreaking. What we're doing to that, incredible, I mean, millions and millions of years people worship that thing. And look what we do. What a thumbprint of us. But you could say all you want, I'll mark my words right now. 2 years, 3 from now, there'll be a major operation. I believe there probably is already. As of November 4th, they switched. I'm standing right in front of the White House. I went to the Department of Energy that day. The day that they called the Japanese officials in, they retooled. And you saw CNN do their propaganda dog and pony show. They're paid to do that. They're paid shills, you know. And so all these people that have been so-called representatives, the Gundersons, the Busbys of the world, and they get on TV and then they go into dilution. When you hear any so-called expert use the word dilution, you know they're a fraud. 101, I was a professor for years. I taught the environmental economics. I mean, this is my gig for my whole life. I ate, sleep, drink it. Now I literally sleep. Head of the atomic veterans for decades. You know, then literally, I mean, I was really an expert on this, but then I got leukemia. I was given 2 months to live. I mean, I don't know how I lived. Living through it, oh, talk about impractical experience. Oh my, wow, wow. As you know, so many of my friends have died and passed, and I'm head of the support group, and it's spiking. Look, and it's going to go crazy. So it's about survival. That's the orange hat. But this whole hyperbole evacuate, they did it on purpose. You know, I mean, come on, give it a rest. Give it a rest. Quit compartmentalizing. Let's talk about what we do know. Let's talk about what we do. There are at least 4 full going on 1,000 days. China syndrome to epic proportions over there. Epic proportions. Nothing's been done. To think that they didn't try is total ignorance. Oh yeah, they tried. And it was the Livermore Lab. And I mean, they've claimed they've had cold fusion, revitrification. That's what this dry cast is on the 104. That's that too, which is a lie. They don't have it. And they say, oh, we can't move it to Yucca Mountain. Yucca Mountain's built. Move it to fucking Yucca Mountain. We transport high-level nuclear waste. And you think about this, the massive protests that are going on in Japan right now. Kathy Iwan's brother-in-law sent us photographs, all-night vigils, because these doctors that are put in jail are reporting that 800 of this, the mob running this, really? The United States Westinghouse, when we called the car, we're not kidding. I mean, how evil is the Department of Energy? You know, until we wake up and realize who these people are, and Barbara Boxer's going at it, we need to keep the pressure on Barbara Boxer's office. She is our champion right now. She's the only one. she's the only one. She's fighting for us. Her staff's great. I've been dealing with her staff for a long time. As Wyden's. Wyden's dropped the ball on this. Everybody. No, she hasn't. We want these, if we can, Cal Edison violated the law big time. So did Gunderson, by the way. He violated the gag order. These people need to go to jail. If we can get one single exec in a prison cell, in a jail, which, I mean, this hyperbole, the nuclear option, I mean, that's so grotesque, people that are using that kind of language while Fukushima's going on, the Iran nuclear thing, when we have the greatest nuclear disaster in the history of humanity, the pivotal moment in all of humanity, and you're talking about the nuclear option in some bullshit filibuster in the current, I mean, it's so obscene to our children. It's not fair to our children, it's not fair to our unborn children, it's not fair to our mamas, it's not fair to our youth, it's not fair to any of us, you know, to go there. Look, it doesn't matter. The plume went out for 5-6 days, hammered us. They knocked down Radnet. Gina McCarthy, head of right now, she's head of the EPA. Axelrod straight out of the nuclear industry. Like I said, the far right, they believe that annihilate the earth. Utah proves it right here. You know, Romney owns Stericycle, the most filthy mass murderer in the history. They believe to rape the earth. They believe this is true. They believe us environmentalists are completely lunatics. They believe because they're generational ignorance, arrogance, and the overcompensation. But the far right, the nuclear replacement, the Queen's Army, their uranium mines, the filthiest, dirty... It all changed on 3/11/11. You go in denial all you want. But we're all in this. Do you think you're safer living in Manhattan or Virginia or D.C. or Florida than you are in California? You're not. You're not. This eco-food chain is all connected. Thus, we. I mean, that's the way. And how do you survive? How do I survive? Have I done it through medication, crazy snake oil cells? No. And to think you're going to hide inside a house is ridiculous. I've been outside the whole time. You've watched my hike. I'm outdoors all day, every day. It's part of it because I keep going in an intense way. I never lay down and give up. Don't rest? Yeah, you need proper 8-hour rest. I changed my diet dramatically. I ate all the wrong things. I drank too much beer. I did a lot of bad things. I scared straight, but I do it. I keep moving. I keep going. I keep fighting in the truth. In the truth. So stop with taking us into lunaticville. Now, I mean, even if you think wholeheartedly that this was done on purpose, and the heart did this, and that you think that this is trying to thin humanity, and I understand the creed and the credibility to it. I understand that Holdren has written books and this thing. I get that. But we need to talk about what's factually happening. All you young people and all you people, just think of this. We created a sun over there. That's what this is the sun. And remember this. The sun can give you cancer from 93 million miles away. These are gamma rays of epic proportion. They're being dispersed into the Pacific Ocean, into our fish, and fish swim. And any asshole who says, oh, this is delusion, like Kant, that whore from Wood Holes, Busby, these people that say they're dead grotesquely, and it's an absolute insult to a person like me who's fighting for my life, full of cancer. They don't get it. They don't get it. They do not get it. Those ocean currents move very dramatically. It's a very sophisticated organism, the greatest. And tuna, how many, they're the fastest swimming mammal on Earth. All fish. So you can eat fish every day. Say you eat fish every day for 100 days. And you're fine. Then one day you get a fish like that one that was captured over there. It was 1,600 times. Plutonium. Boom. You don't think that's going to trigger leukemia? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And if you don't think Americans really do understand, get this. Consumption of fish in this country is dropping dramatically month by month. Because they get it. People can say they don't know and they're in denial about it. And they can, feel good themselves and go in denial just like they did on their money, just like they feel good on everything else in their facade. But deep down in their soul and deep down they know. They know. And the consumption of fish lowering dramatically tells that tale. So this hyperbole, evacuating the West Coast, this was bullshit. Evacuate the earth. I mean, come on. I heard somebody say, oh, these people have their own planet. Really? Really? Oh, go underground, they got their own underground. Really? Fuck, if I had to live under fucking ground for fucking the rest of the time, I'd rather be fucking dead. Go about your life. Stay out of the fucking ocean. Stay out of the Pacific. Do not go in the Pacific. Do not eat out of the Pacific. And this girlfriend of mine, this girl that I know, she's got a dolphin tattooed on her ass. Go get that dolphin take off. It's disgusting. You don't love dolphins. You don't care. What we're doing to the Pacific, and people eat out of that thing. It's going to be a big pressure on the food chain. It's going to be a big pressure on us, and most people that die of this won't even know that it killed them. And this story's not going away. It's going to grow. It's going to be the story of our lifetime. And remember, I told it in detail from day one, in a very, very intense way, right up to predicting my own leukemia. As I lived to tell, 1986, Chernobyl, Chernobyl. This should have broke the back of nuclear, should have been over. And they, you know, the cover-up, there's a price to pay for participating in that cover-up. I mean, print media that's saying, oh, it didn't kill anybody? Wow. Wow. And I'm not over the top saying that it's killing 1,000 or 1,500 a day. That's a fact. It's accumulative, and it's triggering cancer in an epic, big way now. And it's just going to grow. Live like you have cancer before you have cancer. Keep that immune system full, and not with supplements, with food. Walk, hike, be loving, be caring, be the poetry of anger. Show me a man who's angered about nothing, I'll show you a man who cares about nothing. Edward Abbey, stay on tune. Blowing out over the Pacific. The wind is blowing out over the Pacific. Now, you people in Southern California remember this. The plume didn't get you in those early days. The plume went up. Go back to Richard Miller, Under the Clouds, where it rained. The jet stream is so important in that first week. Where was the jet stream? It was up into Washington, into Oregon, over Vancouver, Canada, dove back down over the Midwest and hooked around like that those first few days. Now, as Ariel stated to me today, she says, Kevin, I had a nightmare last night and all I see is this big glaring red sun. And I says, boy, do you get it. Boy, like Lonnie Clark, all these Southern California females, they get it. They get it. It's a beautiful, intuitive sense. They get it. This is... To understand this, understand the sun. They understand. This is the only other place this takes place. This is the first time this has happened here. And it still gives you cancer 93 million miles away. Okay, so the gamma rays are being released. Now, okay, so touring the area. And I'll guarantee she's a gas. She's like, oh, I'll guarantee everybody that's talking to her in a personal way, Fukushima, 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 she's seen it. Her father was incredibly, I mean, the last real man we had in the White House, he was anti-nuclear. I mean, it's a big deal. Barbara Boxer taking these monsters on is a big, big deal. The Southern California fighters, it's a big, big, big deal. As I said, we're going to hit the beach on D-Day, that eventful day, and that is a marquee, pivotal time. But I want to talk about this. Let's talk about this. When this happened, poof, 3 of them are immediately, as soon as the quake happened. The plumes are in there, the roofs are blown off, it's on. I mean, this is different of Chernobyl because Chernobyl, it blew and it was horrible, horrific, but they entombed it. 500,000 men, Gorbachev, another anti-nuclear. By the way, his wife died of what I have. So many have. They went in there and entombed the thing. They got to the core. They haven't touched this core. They can't get to the core. This is China fission China syndrome, nuclear fission for the first time in all of humanity is going on, at least 4, I believe in 6. Multiple ones in 4 that went off. So the plume goes up. The wind is blowing out. I just got off the phone with Ariel. All these intuitive women from Southern California, all you people, she was in China. Okay, right when this happened. She's getting my reports. The only thing she's getting more. Kathy, I went in Japan getting my report. So many people. I'm the early guy. I'm the guy calling this detail. 10,000 views a day. Boom, boom, boom. These people are coming to me. People are just rushing. They're watching the weather like Christ. Gupta and Anderson Cooper, CNN, everybody's glued to CNN watching because they're there. They get out. The wind is blowing out. The plume in this hyperbole, oh, they did it on purpose. They're trying to freaking thin the herd. They're killing on purpose. We can't go there because even if it is true, and I don't know if it's true or if it's not, but we need to deal with this in the reality of the fact that what we do know. That's what this is about. What we do know. You know, because you're spinning us into, because here on the right, in the far right, they really believe to rape the earth and poison the earth and the free market. I mean, free market, really? 50,000 years going to clean? And then the left, they really believe that somehow nuclear is a replacement to dirty coal, which is obscene. Look, let's talk about the truth and reality. Let's talk about this stuff that's coming out about evacuating the coast of... It's such ridiculous. Oh, the debris field's going to hit and just go crazy. And 2 things. 1, Caroline Kennedy is over there today. I think it's a pivotal time. Because she's not in Tokyo, she's in northern Japan. They'll be calling you a radical. This may be the most important video that I ever do. I want to talk about the reality of Fukushima. Just because I'm on YouTube doesn't mean, this is a very small piece of my activism. My activism is broad. I mean, I've done television interviews. I'm very picky about them. I like PBS format, well, public television things. My interview with Jack Dresser, my interviews with Jules Stan, me in the street. I'm a huge activist because what is really bottom line? I want to end all nuclearism. I mean, that's what I was up to long before. I want to talk about the realities of Fukushima and what's going on with these Johnny-come-latelys, not even the Johnny-come-latelys. I mean, we need those. We need those people, you know. I'm all for you. I love you. I love all you people that are fighting. Look, but we can't spill this in la-la